What is up, YouTube? So today I thought it would be fun to go through the same back and biceps workout which I did in my first video. I'll link it in the description. And I'm basically just going to be going over some technique tips and general advice that I would have for training back and bicep in general. It's one of my favorite things to train, and I think there's a lot of things you can do to just generally make a more effective set or have a better time in the gym. Now, one thing to keep in mind while I'm going over these various exercises and advice is I'm not an absolute expert. I'm only really a beginner to intermediate lifter myself, but I have watched many videos. So the first exercise, which I love to start out back and bicep with, is pull-ups. Now, the reason I love doing pull-ups is because I feel like it's great to just activate your back and biceps in the beginning of a workout. The most important thing when you're doing different exercises for back and bicep is to remain consistent. You see, even if you're not doing the form perfectly, like my pull-ups, the fact is I'm remaining consistent with my form between workouts, which is going to allow me to actually accurately tell if I'm getting better at them over time. So that is definitely one big tip to do when doing pull-ups. Other than that, I would keep your chest up and pull your shoulder blades in as if you were doing a bench press. And then as you're going up to do the pull-up, like swing backward and do an arc with your back. That is the most important thing I can say with pull-ups. It is totally fine if you put your legs up a bit, as long as you're remaining consistent between each exercise. Okay, dumbbell rows. This is another of my favorite exercises to do for back and bicep. My biggest tip for dumbbell rows is definitely, instead of lifting or thinking that you're lifting the dumbbell with your hand, think of lifting with your elbow. Now, this is gonna make it so that instead of lifting in a weird arch, you lift more forward to back. As you can see, as I'm lifting these weights, I'm thinking of lifting with my elbow, which is allowing me to create a clear arc as I'm going down. You should be pulling your shoulders down and lats down as you go down. And then when you go up to actually, do the movement, you should be trying to feel it in your lats as much as possible and try and think about pulling your elbow back, not the arm. That is the best tip I can give for this exercise. Okay, rear delts. This is a very underrated muscle because most people just have really overdeveloped front delts from bench pressing. But you should definitely be doing rear delts because it's really going to create a better look in your back since they're often underdeveloped in most people. My best tip for them is to make sure you're squeezing them as hard as possible at the latter half of the movement. Bands are definitely not as effective as if you did dumbbells. I just personally like doing it more with bands, even if it's probably not going to give me as much objective gains, but that's my best tip for rear delts. Another thing is to get really creative if you have a home gym, because a lot of us don't have access to a really good gym right now. So I really like to do rows with bands, and I actually stack these 3 coolers, as you can see, together, and I put a weight on them to stabilize it. And then I'll just load up as much weight as I can on the band so that it's actually hard. And then I'll squeeze as hard as I can on the latter half of the movement. And then it's totally fine if you go forward with your back a little. Like I said, as long as you're remaining consistent in between workouts and doing it in the same way, you can track accurately if you're getting better over time. But yeah, if you just squeeze and really develop a mind-muscle connection with these body parts, it's gonna be much easier to do better and to get more muscle going forward. Biceps are absolutely my favorite muscle to train in the gym, and my biggest tip for bicep is a lot of people put too much weight on and just go really fast reps. My biggest tip is to go very, very moderately fast on the concentric, which is the way up. And then since you're stronger on the eccentric of the side of the movement, as you see here, I'm going quite slow on the way down. And another great tip I have is I like to do only one bicep exercise per workout, and I'll just do a ton of sets. So the way that I get my full bicep in and really target the entire muscle is I start with a normal grip on the bicep. So as you can see, when I'm on the bottom, I'm just holding them in a normal grip. And then as I come up, I supinate, which basically means I turn my wrists. And that way, when I'm at the top of the movement, it contracts the entire bicep instead of just one portion. And it's really gonna let you get a fuller range of motion and just get more muscle on the bicep. Another thing you're going to notice is that on the latter half of these sets, I'm actually really arcing forward and forcing the weight up, which would be considered cheating, and it obviously is. But I think on some exercises like biceps, it's totally fine to cheat if you just start the first half of the set with really good form, and then as you get really weak towards the latter half, you can force the weight and actually cheat and do more reps. Now, the reason it works to cheat on exercises like bicep curls is because there's no way you can really hurt yourself like if you cheated on more of a compound movement like bench press. So cheating is definitely going to help you get those extra reps in. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've got a great video coming out in a bit with my mom where we rate nut butters. I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.